say, I think when I was really young, it was hard to really analyze myself. So in high school, I would say there were more of those thoughts like, oh, what's wrong with me? I wish I was like this person. They're very outgoing and comfortable. They have so many friends. Like I was kind of like, oh, why can't I do that? Or why can't I be myself? So that whole, negative self-talk, like, oh, I'm not good enough, or I wish I was like this.
Yeah.
That definitely did occur, I would say, end of elementary school, like high school-ish.
Yeah.
For sure.
Hi, it's Doug Daney. Listen, I wanted to come on here today and I just wanted to share a story with you today. Drina is her name. Lovely young person. And we met not that long ago, last year, I think it was. We were in Mexico at a conference and we got chatting, and we had a fun dinner in Mexico, didn't we, Drina? How are you, by the way?
Yeah. Good. I'm really happy to be here. Mexico was a lot of fun. I can't believe it's almost been a year, I think.
Yeah, it has been a year.
Time.
Yeah. We were sitting at a dinner, out for dinner one night after the conference, and Drina was just about 2 chairs to the right of me, and I can't help myself. I get talking to people. I just moved into coaching mode, and we were just talking. I said, "What do you really want?" And uh, we were talking about concerts, and I challenged you to buy a ticket to a concert. What was that? What was the concert again?
There was two. There was Enrique Iglesias and then the Backstreet Boys concert, which is the one I went to.
Right. And Enrique, Backstreet was in Toronto. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, she made some moves, and I challenged her to go to this concert, do some of the things that she wanted to do. Well, reason I brought Drina on is because we were talking about not very long, just over a month ago, a little longer, and we were just chatting about where she was at and kind of what she was working on. And I said, "Hey, why don't you go through my book?" And so I designed the book in a way where it's instructional, it's directive, and it's prescriptive. So it's not a book. It's not a book that you read. It's not a very long book. It's not a book that you read. What I say is it's a book that I want you to experience. And so it's more of a handbook as opposed to just a book that you would just read and then put back on your shelf. I said, when you go through the book, because the book is designed that each day for 30 days, you read one chapter. It's only like 2 to 3 pages long. It's literally like a 5-minute read each day. And then there's an action step, because what I want people to do is to understand their mistaken identity. First off, where did it come from? And then kind of take inventory of how it may be getting in your way or stopping you or causing you to get stuck or hide or whatever is stopping you from living the life you want. And then I get you to take a simple action step each day. And I said, would you do me a favor? Would you go through the book and just take the action step each day for 30 days? Then we were texting every couple of days, just checking in. And then she did it. She went every day for 30 days and did it. And so today I just wanted we didn't plan this other than to come on here. I haven't spoke to her about this interview, but I did want to ask you just a couple of questions of what you experienced from the book or what happened to you with the book. So what did you, I guess the first question is, what did you learn about your own mistaken identity as you were going through this?
I learned a lot from the book. I love how it was designed, and it was meant to be small, condensed chapters each day. So I've read a lot of books, and some books are very long, and then you kind of get stuck in the theory, and then you don't exactly take the action. So I just loved how simple each chapter was, and it was easy for me to bring clarity to my mind. So your question regarding the mistaken identity that I had, there were so many aha moments and breakthroughs I had. Things that stick out to me right now are I was holding on to a lot of things in my past that wasn't really necessary for me to move forward. And it was not like productive thoughts that I actually needed. And there was one chapter where you kind of explain, like, stop being a prisoner, like sentencing yourself. No one's sentencing you to anything. So like really let go and move on and like break free from that. So that was really big for me. And then just holding assumptions that aren't necessarily true. assumptions of myself or what people think of me that are not like, is that really true? So that was a big moment too. That sometimes it's just that mental chatter that I have over myself that isn't actually the truth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that. So the one chapter Drina's talking about is called guilty verdict, and we carry around a lot of guilt from our past. It depends on how severe your past was, i.e., in terms of either what you went through or mistakes that you made. And guilt is not a good thing. I mean, guilt is good temporarily or in the moment. It brings your attention. Same as shame. Well, there's another chapter on shame too. Shame and guilt kind of go together. That if you make a mistake, that you should pay for the mistake, but you don't pay for it over and over and over and over again. And just from a mindset perspective, which there's a lot of tips in here on how to operate your mind properly. Your mind doesn't work very well if you're looking backwards on the past. But we've been taught, and so most of the things that contribute to your mistaken identity are just things that you were taught to do. And so one thing for sure, guilt is, all around us. We're constantly making people feel guilty or make ourselves feel guilty. And other people are doing it to us. And so you gotta drop that. There's nothing in the past that can help you go forward. If there is, your memory, your subconscious will bring it forward with you. And that is that really true chapter. That's one of my favorites because a friend of mine, we do make a lot of assumptions. We make a lot of stuff up. That's another chapter. Don't make stuff up. We make a lot of assumptions. Our imagination runs away on us. And we do really have to ask ourselves, is that really true? And so what about, what would you say, like maybe from a female's perspective or from a cultural perspective, because we all come from different, cultural backgrounds, for example, and there's different, rules, values, and beliefs and identities around women and parenting and cultural stuff. Is there anything else that came up in your mistaken identity that you found was kind of getting in your way?
Just trying to think culturally. Yeah, there's, I mean, so many different things. Like things that come to mind right now is just like staying small. Like you should be, humble and not, purchase certain things or show up in a certain way on social media to expose, like keep everything inside and kind of have that image that you have it all together. And that comes to mind a lot of obviously money blocks in um, the mindset around money on how much you should be spending and saving and security. So it's too risky to get into entrepreneurship as an example and things like that. Like you're not built for that or you're not good enough for that thing. So there's honestly so many different things that pop up.
So can you think of something like that wasn't really true for you? And what was something that you believe that wasn't true and what is the truth for you?
Um, for me, well, something that came up like during the time that I was reading the book was I got asked to speak at an event on a panel. And I'm not a public speaker actually. In high school, like I would get really nervous and freeze and like forget all my lines. And so I got asked to do that and I was thinking about it and I was kind of like, oh, I hope, she doesn't get back to me or something happens and it's canceled and kind of thing. Like I didn't really want to do it, but I knew from the truth is I could do it and that this is such a great opportunity for me to speak. So I kind of went through a process where I am capable of speaking on stage. They chose me. She really believed in me and she really wanted me to be there. And I kind of her belief kind of helped me believe in my own self. And then I
Yeah.
kind of shut all those negative voices that, I'm going to fail or I'm not good enough or based on past experiences, this is not for me. So I ended up saying yes. So I will be doing that in March. So that actually really helped.
Oh, that's so good. I got your text. It's in Croatia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not you live in Toronto. It's not in Toronto. It's in Croatia.
Yeah.
I remember the text. I look at it. The thought, kind of what you just said, came to me. I said they obviously see something in you. Otherwise, they wouldn't have invited you to speak. And so they see the real you and what you're capable of. We've been convinced because I think a lot of times we the adage, fake it till you make it, or we do put ourselves out there the way we want to, but like you said, that these other paradigms or beliefs from family or upbringing, don't show up, don't put yourself so much on the public stage, blah, blah, all the things you rifled off there, right? That's the part that's going, oh God, I hope they don't pick me. I hope they don't, da, da, da. But we got to pay attention to the good that we're being pulled to, So somebody saw something and I wasn't surprised by it. When you say, I go, I'm not surprised, but our mistaken identity, it'll do everything too to try to talk us out of these good things that we get attracted to or get attracted to us, which is really being attracted, it really is attracting the true essence of who we really are. Now, listen, everybody gets nervous public speaking, everybody. But you learn to get more and more relaxed and comfortable, and you get better at it. So you're gonna do great. So just speaking of high school and public speaking, I know for me, we were talking about to a young guy, Lane was his name, doing a similar meeting like this or an interview, and what was it like what was sort of your experience when you were young? Like, did you feel like you could kind of be yourself and were you really flourishing or were you hiding? What was it like for you as a young person?
Funny you say that. It was quite the opposite. So when I started right in kindergarten, I was like afraid to talk to people. So I didn't actually talk to people. And the teachers thought there was some sort of problem. Like there was, she cannot speak, like there's a disability there. But it was just, I had this fear of talking to other people. And I guess in my head, they weren't family, they were strangers. So I really had difficulty building trust. And then I did get an amazing social worker or speech therapist that did help me and built that trust with me. And then I did end up reading and talking to people and opening up, but it was still challenging, like through high school and things like that. I wouldn't really be comfortable raising my hand or showing my true colors in front of everybody. I was always concerned, oh, what are they going to think of me? What should I say next? What's like the right thing to say? And then I'd kind of agree with people's opinions because I just wanted to be liked.
Yeah. 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 We all have a really strong desire to be liked at an early age. So Drina is also into the same work that I'm into. So she helps people change their mindset and change their view of themselves and start thinking properly to improve their life. She's in the same work that I'm in. That's how we met. So with that awareness now and looking back, while that young girl, was there any real problem, or did you kind of buy into what people said there might be a problem? Was there really a problem, or you were just maybe shy and quiet, introverted when you were starting out?
Yeah, there was definitely not a problem. It was just I was, like you said, shy, introverted. It took me a little bit longer to warm up to people. So I think at the beginning there was probably like a label, but then I kind of dismissed that label after.
Yeah, that's good.
Through different experience.
Yeah, that's good. I got called into my daughter's school. She was in Montessori, so she was in, I guess it would be senior kindergarten. We got a call from the school. They said, we have to have a meeting, parent meeting. Okay, what's going on? So we go to this meeting and the teachers are there and a social worker or whatever they call them for the school board or something. And they said, yeah, we're worried about Eden. We go, really? Yeah. Well, what's going on? She, well, she gurs at kids like, and then she makes this sound. I go, what's the sound? And I started laughing. So my daughter was in love with the movie Spirit. It was about a horse. Matt Damon was the actor, and he was just this Mustang horse, and he was fierce and independent. And she just kept mimicking this horse Spirit. And I just kind of laughed. I said, she's just imitating Spirit. She's like, she watches the movie like every day, it seems. And well, we want to bring in some specialists and her mom was, it upset her mom, of course. And I'm just going, you guys don't know what the hell you're talking about. But we went through the process and we've got a letter from the board and we read the letter and a friend of ours said, just tear that letter up. They don't know what they're talking about. And I kept the letter and I said, I'm going to give Eden that letter when she's older so she can read it because they were so off track about her. But but she got drawn into the dialogue, right? We get hypnotized to believe things that we hear from other people. And it knocks us off track. And then we feel like we're off track.
Yeah.
Does that story relate to you?
Yeah. Now that I'm like processing. I think when I was really young, it was hard to really analyze myself. So in high school, I would say there were more of those thoughts like, oh, what's wrong with me? I wish I was like this person. They're very outgoing and comfortable. They have so many friends. Like I was kind of like, oh, why can't I do that? Or why can't I be myself? So that whole, negative self talk, like, oh, I'm not good enough, or I wish I was like this.
Yeah.
That definitely did occur, I would say, end of elementary school, like high school ish,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Two of those two questions, what's wrong and why can't I be myself? Which is basically saying, I can't be myself. Why can't I? Because you should be able to be yourself. But listen, whether you've gone through a story like mine or Drina, we all have our own stories, and my story is no worse than Drina's, and vice versa. It doesn't matter if you've been through trauma or not. We all have stories, and we all have this viewpoint of ourselves that was manufactured for the most part, heavily influenced at a young age because chapter 1 of my book is Stop Judging. So when you were little, you were a victim to a lot of judgment. It wasn't your parents' fault, but they judged you, they judged others. You learned to judge yourself. They told you, what you should do and what you shouldn't do, and what was right and wrong, and what was good and bad. And if you were good and you felt it was right, you got praise and love and appreciation. If you did things wrong, you got punished or criticized or whatever. We probably got more of the negative than the positive. And so, I know from working with thousands of people, a lot of people are struggling with this mistaken identity. They're mistaken about who they really are. And they're asking questions like Drina just said that she was asking at adolescence and high school years. And it creates all this self-doubt in you, and it slows you down, it bogs you down, it knocks you off course, you go in the wrong direction. You conform, conforming is a big issue. So if you can kind of just sum up the last month or so in the book, and also reflecting through the exercise and the action steps on, the previous version of you in your life so far, how has this changed the course for you? What's different for you now as you go ahead?
So for me, it brought a lot of clarity to my mind and just noticing the thoughts I'm having and how it relates to the past, and really kind of nipping it right away. So like saying stop it, like those thoughts when they come up, because there's always things that come up
Mhm.
um, in all areas of our lives. So for me, um, just having that discipline in my thoughts, I really brought that out of me in the book. Just even doing the book for 30 days consecutively, and just letting it go. So I felt like I've let go of a lot of stuff that I was
Yeah.
carrying, and just really moving on and really looking forward to the bright future ahead of me. And um, the book really gave me permission to do that. And thank you. It was so incredible, and it's a book that I'd love to come back to again. Like it's something that's really easy to follow and such a great reminder.
Well, your future is bright. Let me assure you that. Dreen asked me a question. I forget how you asked it, but it was kind of like, because I was helping her in Mexico over dinner and stuff. And then just for my own fun, not for her, I said, I'm going to pay for you. If you book that hotel to Ritz, I'm going to pay for one night. And, I just did a couple of things to help her. And she said, why are you helping me? And I said, well, why do you think? And I just try to get people to see what I see in them that I know that they can feel, but they may not believe. And, just try to believe in them until they believe in themselves. Like you said earlier, it's just that it's the belief that you have to borrow sometimes from other people to get started. I got one last question before we go, if you don't mind. Um,
Mhm.
I always call it, what's the wrong that you're going to right? What's the biggest thing that you were wrong about that you're now right about as you go forward? But what's the right that you've wronged by experiencing what you did through the book. You were wrong about something, and what's right? What's true? Because true always feels good. Right or wrong always feels bad. What's the truth? What's the wrong you're writing?
I think um, we didn't really talk about it, but there has been like some mistakes that I would call it a mistake in the past, like regarding finances. So then the right is like there. My truth is there is no such thing as mistakes. Like this, this is all part of the journey, and I am I'm perfect just the way I am. Like there is nothing I should be doing or should not be doing. There's no standard that I need to uphold or to prove to anybody, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's society standards or family or friends, like there's no kind of standard that I need to achieve, right? I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Um, but I've really just um, accepted myself, loved myself through everything that I've been through.
Yeah. I love that. But listen, I think the only standard I talk about, the chapters about there's man-made rules, and they're always changing. You'll never keep up with them because they're always moving around. And so make up your own rules. You make up your own. All the rules that we follow are pretty much man-made, um, human-made, I should say. I don't mean to be man as in gender, but they're made up. You should make up your own rules and your own personal standards. And how do you do that? You just take an honest look at what's on your heart and what do you want to do? What are you passionate about? What do you enjoy doing? If you could be yourself, what would you do? And then what are some standards that you should keep to ensure that you stay on track to be able to do that? And just from a mindset perspective, which a lot of it's in the book too, of course, is that um, uh, the only way you learn, the only way your mind learns and remembers to get you to where you want to go is through mistake and failure. So I love failing. I love it because every time I fail, I'm course correcting. Every time I run into a roadblock or I get stuck, I'm course correcting, and that's proper use of your mind. That's accurate thinking. And so I know because Drina's in this work and she teaches that, and but it's very easy for those standards, those rules that you grew up with, that you adopted or drilled into you, to overtake proper use of your own thinking. And so I think I just love that you you can make up your own rules and live your life the way you want to live it, because that's the best version of you. I like I like the real you. I saw the real you when I met you, and I think you're a wonderful person with a wonderful attitude. You got a beautiful energy about you. Some people be surprised by listening to you say what you're saying today, because when they first meet you, they would never think that you had a mistaken identity, but a lot of people do. And I just appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you going through the book as a trial to give me some feedback as well. But most importantly, I'm glad that it helped you, and I'm glad that I get to spend more time with you. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. And it pops up like even when I was asked to come speak with you today, I'm like, oh, like what's the right thing to say? Or I hope I do a great job, but there is no such thing as the right thing to say. Like whatever you say is right. So whether it's today or when I'm speaking on that in that conference, like there is no right or wrong way to way to speak because I'm just being myself.
That's right. That's the right way. If you want to do what's right, just be yourself, and then everything else works out
Right.
right. So
So thank you so much.
you're awesome. Thanks so much for doing this. We'll see you soon.